us every day. We had the experience that perhaps the beyond belief that he,
when the operations of those commandos were at their height,
that the Reich Security Main Office had complained that he had forbidden the execution of the cemetery. You were asked to believe that these 21 ministers and leading officers of state did not know of these matters, were not responsible. It is for you to decide. Years ago, some, it may be, are more guilty than others. Some played a more direct and active part than others in these frightful crimes. But when these crimes are such as you have to deal with here, slavery, mass murder, and world war, when the consequences of these crimes are the deaths of over 20 million of our fellow men, the devastation of a continent, the spread of untold tragedy and suffering throughout the world, what mitigation is it that some took less part than others, that some were principals and others mere accessories? What matters it if some forfeited their lives only 1,000 times when others deserved 1,000,000 deaths? In one way, the fate of these men means little. Their personal power for evil lies forever broken. They have convicted and discredited each other and finally destroyed the legend they created around the figure of their leader. But on their fate, great issues must still depend, for the ways of truth and righteousness between the nations of the world, the hope of future international cooperation in the administration of law and justice are in your hands. This trial must form a milestone in the history of civilization, not only bringing retribution to these guilty men, not only marking that right shall, in the end, triumph over evil, but also that the ordinary people of the world, and I make no distinction now between friend and foe, are now determined that the individual must transcend the state. The state and the law are made for man, that through them he may achieve a fuller life, a higher purpose, a greater dignity. States may be great and powerful. Ultimately, the rights of men, made as all men are made in the image of God, are fundamental. When the state, either because as here its leaders have lusted for power and place, or under some specious pretext that the end may justify the means, affronts these things, they may for a time become obscured and submerged, but they are imminent, and ultimately they will assert themselves more strongly still, their imminence more. Liberty, love, understanding comes to this court and cries, "These are our laws, let them prevail." And then shall those other words of Goethe be translated into fact, not only, as we must hope, of the German people, but of the whole community of man. Thus ought the German people to behave, giving and receiving from the world, their hearts open to every fruitful source of wonder, great through understanding and love, through mediation and the Spirit. Thus ought they to be. That is their destiny. You will remember when you come to give your decision the story of Dubno, but not in vengeance, in a determination that these things shall not occur again. The father, do you remember, pointed to the sky and seemed to say something to his boy. The room will adjourn.
Hello, sound recording. Hello, sound recording.